Good luck, high five, here to bring you 5 things we love about Arena and 5 things we hope get changed.
Let's kick things off on a positive note. Thing number 1 that we love about Arena is that it looks awesome.
Oh, it looks so good. All of the animations when like really powerful cards hit the board, I love them. All of like the little dragons that breathe a bunch of fire, or
the angels that fly in.
Oh yeah, with their big wings, or the planeswalkers that stand there and look very intimidating.
And you know what's funny too is they do them, I think, for every mythic. Don't quote me on that, but every time I see a new mythic, it has a special animation.
Yes.
Which I think is cool.
I think that it's like every mythic, but then there's also some other cards, like Glorybringer is one that I remember. It's not a mythic, but it still had an animation because it's like, this is a powerful card.
Sure feels like a mythic.
And I was someone who is skeptical of Arena going into it because sometimes games like that can get too visually crowded for me. But I have to say it never has felt that way.
Yeah.
Even when the board state is super clogged, like I love that the lands are just kind of like the art part of the land. It's not the full thing taking up like so much space on your battlefield. Everything just looks so clean.
And I think there's a lot of things that people initially were pretty curious about. I'll use the word curious. Like the 45-degree tap or, you know, stuff like that. Is that going to bother me? And it's just turned out, as far as I'm concerned, to work really well, and they've had really good solutions to stuff that I think are actually kind of tricky problems with Magic cards. There's a lot of information on there.
Yeah.
But when you mouse over it and it becomes large, you can see all the details about it. I think that's really cool.
Yep. And for streamers on Twitch, there's even a tool that lets people who are watching your stream mouse over cards.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Which is so handy. And if you've only played Magic Online, it's like looking at a coloring book and you've never experienced other art, and you look at a coloring book and you're like, this is art. This is all that art is. And then all of a sudden you go into a museum and you're like, wait a second. That's the visual difference.
Magic Arena is the Mona Lisa
of coloring books.
Coloring books.
Wait.
There you go.
Quote us on that one. The first thing that we would like to change about Arena, we want a friends list.
Friends list!
You know, it's so much fun to play someone for the first time whose name you recognize, and you're like, yes! And maybe it's even someone that you know.
Yeah.
And I would just love to be able to know, like, hey, is this person online right now? Once I know my friends' different usernames, I'd love to be able to add them.
And message them?
Yes.
So that's 2 features that we're asking for.
That's true. Honestly, give me a list first.
And I know for a fact that the friends list is coming because Wizards of the Coast has said officially that the friends list is coming.
Okay.
You know, so that's going to happen. And then I want to be able to chat with my friends and be like, hey, what event are you in? What are you playing? Or maybe it'll say next to their name what event they're playing.
Ooh, that would be sick.
And they can be like, challenge to a battle.
Oh my goodness. Can you imagine if you could look at your friends list and it would tell you what event they're in?
I would love that.
Same. Back to something we love. There's so many sweet formats on Arena.
Yeah, I love the fact that Arena lends itself to be able to play stuff that you actually can't play in real life. They used to do this Vanguard formats on Magic Online.
Yeah.
Momir Vig is perhaps the most popular one. And they just started doing it on Arena too, but with Standard, because that's all that they have to offer on there.
Yeah, there's also been a lot of fun, like 60 card singleton formats.
Yes, I love the singleton.
Which are kind of similar. People are like, oh, hey, Commander is the singleton format. But this is just like, you don't have a Commander. You just build a 60 card singleton deck. That's been a format that we know we've been having a ton of fun with, and we know other people have been having a ton of fun. Melissa DeTora made an awesome blue-red list.
So cool.
That was so good. It was so much fun to play with.
Can I say I love singleton? I think I like it even better than if I had a Commander.
Wow.
Random thought right now.
Yeah.
I just really liked it. And I also like the best of one formats that you can play on Arena. Mm-hmm. That's really cool to me too.
Yeah. I just love, I can't wait to see all of the other different kinds of formats that they bring to it, because I love them.
Special ones for holidays, or for times of the year, or like even for pro tournaments coming up that you could play with, like the decks that people won with, that kind of thing.
Yes.
I think would be really cool. All right, here's something we'd like changed, and that's to be able to see how many cards are in your deck in every deck view.
Oh my goodness. Just let me see how many cards are in my draft deck. Well, I'm talking about the layout where it's like the curve. Yeah. So it's horizontal and you're seeing all your cards nice and laid out. And at the top of each column, they're showing you the number of cards in that column. But where's my total number of cards?
We really want the total number, please.
We need the total number of cards because otherwise I'm sitting there like tallying up like, okay, how many? And if you toggle the view,
if you go to the
list on the
view,
right, it shows you. So this is like a minor thing. That
Very
information
minor.
is there for you, but still, I don't want to have to toggle back and forth. I like the horizontal view, but I want to be able to see how many cards, and I want to be able to move that bar up and down
so I need
because
to move it.
sometimes the columns are too long, and I hate scrolling down the column.
I agree. I'm a person who loves 2-drops, and I'm gonna scroll down my 2-drop column. Just let me adjust that bar. That's all I want to do.
Exactly. So a little bit of view changing.
Yeah. Speaking of that, this is also a very minor detail that I have a quibble with, which is I love the fact that you can see which cards your opponent has in hand if you've seen them somehow in the game.
Yes. Oh, that's so awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
All I'm asking for is just a little red line around my card or some other way to signify which cards my opponent knows, which cards I know that my opponent has seen.
Yes. So you're asking, okay, your opponent has seen some of your cards.
Yeah.
You want to know by looking at your hand which cards were in your hand when your opponent saw it.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a super easy fix and would just help a little bit because sometimes you draw multiples of the same cards and you can try to keep them always on the right side of your hand, but sometimes you shuffle the cards around digitally and then you're like, oh, whoops, which one of these Aurelias did they actually see?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
So.
Very valid.
Quibble, but there you go.
But still, yeah. Back to something that we love. It's super affordable.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Yes, I have played a lot of Arena.
How much, Megan?
Some would argue too much.
Same.
Some would argue too much Arena. And I have spent barely anything on it.
Yeah, it's like $15 maybe?
Exactly. $5 will last me weeks.
Yes.
And honestly, if it's only if I've been like doing very poorly in draft and it's draft is what I want to do at the moment.
Yeah.
Because otherwise sometimes it's like, oh, I put $5 in and I did very poorly in draft. But it's like, oh, now I'll go play Singleton for a little while because like I have the coins that I need to play Singleton. And that's a great time.
I love the idea of mining certain formats so that you can play other ones. I just find that kind of fun. So I'm effectively going infinite by doing well in constructed, and then I can use those winnings to go towards an arena draft or something like that. I think that's pretty cool.
So I think especially for people who are just like, oh, I sometimes get priced out of Magic. They feel like, there's a hindrance on their ability to play because they don't want to spend too much. I think Arena is a super easy way to put a cap on what you're willing to spend on Magic. Even if it really is, it's like, do you know what? I'm going to spend $20 this month.
Right.
Like that's all this month that I will spend on it. And that's going to go such a long ways.
And you can play the daily rewards too and the weekly rewards and just rack up gold that way.
Exactly.
Open packs that way and play the ladder, which is always free.
Yeah. So there's so many different ways to play, even if you're on a budget. So we really encourage you, if you're a person who has been unsure about dipping your toe into the Arena waters because you're worried about investing too much money in it, it's so easy to get started. It's great.
Thing number 4 that we wish we could see a change in for Arena is being able to see your vault progress.
Yeah.
So if the vault is something that stays around, which I guess is still a question in the air, we might, see a complete revamping of this by the time this hits alpha.
Yeah.
But let's just say for the sake of argument that stays around, I want to be able to see where I'm at on my progress at any given time. And I know you can technically do this by going to the game logs and seeing it that way, but that is quite a lot of work. I just want a visual representation of where I'm at on my vault on the screen.
Yes.
That's a, pretty cut and dry one.
But yeah, cut and dried. Back to something that we love. I love that you don't end up with a million copies of commons.
Yeah, agree.
This is something if you play in paper, you sure know. If you're drafting a lot, you're just like, oh God, I have 1 million dive downs because I drafted a lot.
Oh yeah. How many Llanowar elves do I have? 20,000.
Exactly. And this relates back to the vault because once you have 4 copies of a card, every other copy goes towards your vault progress.
Right.
And it's just so nice to be like, oh, I opened, another Llanowar elves. what am I going to do with it?
At least it's going somewhere good.
Yeah, exactly. And it also, for me, it's nice to just have like a smaller collection. I appreciate that it's like, it's tidy. It's only ever going to be what I need. I don't need 20 copies of Dive Down.
No.
Unless I'm a real enthusiast.
And if you need 20, you get them as long as you have 4.
Yeah, exactly. You can have them across a couple of different decks. Something that we'd like to see changed, and this kind of touches on the vault thing and the copies of cards. This is a theme.
Yep.
Is that we'd like to be able to either trade down on wild cards. Say you really need some uncommons that you need to flesh out a deck, but you only have rare wild cards. I don't know who you are, but it's happened to me. Actually, it's happened to me.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, I don't have any use for these rare wild cards, and I want to be able to trade down.
Yeah.
So it's just like
split it into 4
exactly
uncommons.
Or even just like 2 uncommons I'd be fine with.
Okay.
And the same thing goes for going up. Even if it was an absurd number, if it's like 20 commons and I can make a rare, like
That would
20
be
wild
wonderful.
card commons,
Yeah.
then I would so do that, right? Like sometimes, you have so many common wild cards and you're like, I don't need all of these. But I really wish that I had this one rare wild card more.
I think that the vault and being able to acquire wild cards and cards for your decks is kind of the biggest stumbling block that Arena's running into right now. Something else that I've noticed on Arena is that it's actually pretty hard to put together an entire standard deck.
Yeah.
At this point in time, I've been playing Arena since obviously since the closed beta, but now into the alpha. The open beta, and I found that I have yet to be able to complete a standard deck.
Yeah.
And I play it all the time.
And unlike me, you're not waffling between a bunch of different decks.
No.
Which is my real vice.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a problem too, because I do want to put together other standard decks, and I just don't see any time, even in the near future, when I'll be able to have as many as 3.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I've been playing around with right now. And so that's a little bit of a hamper. I would like it to be easier for people to complete their standard decks, whatever way that's possible.
Yeah, and it does feel like being able to swap up or down some of those common wild cards, uncommon wild cards, rare wild cards, whichever direction you want to be able to go in, would be helpful. Because even sometimes I like to brew just like really dumb standard decks.
Right.
And those usually need like a lot of dumb uncommons. And there have been times when, like I said, I am the person who's like, I need more uncommon wild cards. I don't need these dumb rares.
Right.
You know, rares are for suckers who want to win.
And some people have been talking about eliminating the vault entirely, and every time you get a 4th copy of whatever that falls under common, uncommon, rare, or mythic, your advancement to a rare, mythic, whatever wild card goes up by 1 notch.
Oh yeah.
So that's another potential solution.
Mm-hmm. So like, a lot of the things that we've talked about touch on kind of like the economy system, and you have to give them some leeway, I feel like, because it is brand new
and you don't know how it's gonna react.
Exactly, and they're creating an entire economy. Like,
Megan,
that's a big.
I've created so many economies in my day.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm really happy for you.
Back when I was a child and charging teenagers more money than it cost to buy a pop from the soda machine because I'd go and buy it for them and keep the extra.
Did you do that?
Yes.
Genius.
That was one of my favorite things to do as a child.
That's also kind of weird that that's the way that you spend your time.
You know, I was bored.
Also genius.
Backstage in a theater. It wasn't that I was just going to the high school and doing this. I was already there.
In my mind, you were like, all right, time for me to head on down to work at the high school. Charging those kids $1 for their pop.
You know what? They paid it. So as I mentioned earlier in this video, I love the best of 1 games on Arena because they're really fast. You can just blow through them in an afternoon. It's just a fun way to play some quick Magic. And I also love the fact that your best of opening hands choose from 2 that have the best mix of lands and spells and present you with 1 before your mulligan decision. And I think that just gives you way more opportunities to actually play a game and not have to deal with mana flood or screw or anything like that.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest problems that people can run into with best of 1 games.
Right.
Is, well, if I mulliganed a bunch, or if I got mana screwed, then like that was the game.
Yeah.
And now it's done.
Yeah.
And so it reduces the chance of that happening. And it's pretty sweet. And it does a good job.
And it lives next to a way to play it that is, traditional Magic.
Yeah.
So you can choose whichever one you prefer. Because I was kind of wondering about this. I played a lot of Hearthstone, and I'm like, how are we going to see the way that Magic can play fun and easy, quick games the same way that Hearthstone did, because they don't have a mana system.
Yeah.
That changes game to game. So this is, I think, a great solution. And if you're not into it, well, then you just play best of 3, and that's the way that it goes. So flexibility, I think, is awesome here.
So the last thing that we would, on our list of things that we would like to see changed, is better targeting for counter spells and multi-target spells.
Yeah.
I had an issue the other day where I wanted to, there's a couple of spells on the stack, and I was trying to cast a counter spell on something lower down on the stack. And so I cast it, and it countered the top spell.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I don't know. I couldn't trace back, like, did I choose that spell when I was casting it? Was I supposed to pass through that spell resolving and then go all the way down to the spell that I wanted to counter and then cast it when that was the only thing on the stack? So that was kind of a frustrating moment when it's just like, I was just trying to cast this counter spell in a way that I'm used to it. There's, on Magic Online, you can cast a spell onto a full stack and you get to pick which of those things that you're targeting.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And then there's been problems with cards like Artful Takedown, which has 2 modes, and you can choose them both, and you can choose different targets for those modes. But sometimes when you look at it, you don't know which half is targeting which card if someone is casting Artful Takedown on your creatures.
So the good news about this is that it appears that the Arena team is updating these concerns from version to version, which every week or so you've got to re-download, and I've noticed that Artful Takedown, when you cast it now, it does say tap, choose a creature to tap, and then choose a creature to give -2/-4, where in the original iteration of this it did not.
Yeah.
So that is a positive change there. I still don't know what it does if it's targeting your creatures. That hasn't happened to me in a little while.
And I have noticed that, because at first it was frustrating, because also when you cast it, it would just be
wait.
You're like, what if I click on the wrong thing?
Which one is tapped? Which one is getting -2/-4?
Yeah. And then when it happens to you, it's just like there's 2 arcs coming off the card pointing to 2 different cards on your side of the battlefield, and you're like, which one of these is which?
Wait, what?
What is what?
Wait.
What is happening?
Wait, what?
What is happening?
And I can see that maybe if you've got a lot of creatures out on both sides of the battlefield, you can have some kind of really complicated combat steps when there's a lot of those glowing white lines blocking and everything. I don't really know what the solution is.
They've done a good job of, usually cards will shift around too, so that the lines aren't crossing each other.
Oh, that would be a nightmare.
Because then that really is. So again, it's stuff that's on their radar.
Yes, for sure.
And we're just hoping to see modified in the future. But overall, we're enjoying the Arena experience.
Oh, absolutely. I love it.
Honestly, we only have these critiques because we spend so much time playing it.
And they're very small and easily fixable critiques, honestly, except the economy one. But I feel like that's a bigger problem that they'll be working on for some time to come yet.
Absolutely.
But yeah, if you haven't tried Arena, we highly encourage you to go out there and check it out. It's super fun. If you're a casual player, it's great for you. If you're a competitive player, I'm also going to say it's great for you.
Yeah.
And it just provides you such a more dynamic and interesting way to play Magic online that is honestly pretty addictive and super fun.
So get on out there, play it.